You've been lied to, not by accident, not by mistake, but by design. From the moment you could understand words, you were told that kindness is the answer. That if you do the right thing, good things will come to you. That honesty and fairness are the foundation of success. But look around. Do you see the kindest people in positions of power? Do you see the most honest ones winning? Do you see fairness ruling the world? You don't, because the world does not reward kindness. It rewards those who know how to use it strategically. And those who don't, they become pawns in a game they don't even realize they're playing. Think back to every time you did the right thing, helped a friend, went the extra mile, gave without expecting anything in return. And what happened? Did you get rewarded, respected? Or did people start expecting it from you, as if your goodness was an obligation? How many times have you seen people with less talent, less intelligence, and less morality get ahead while you stayed stuck, waiting for fairness to kick in? The truth is, fairness is an illusion, and the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start playing the game with your eyes open. Machiavelli understood something most people refuse to acknowledge. The world is not built for the weak. It is built for those who understand how power really works. He saw morality not as an obstacle, but as a weapon, a tool that could be wielded when useful and abandoned when necessary. He understood that those who rely solely on goodness will eventually be swallowed by those who are willing to do whatever it takes. And if you don't believe that, just look at history. The greatest leaders, the most powerful figures, the most successful individuals, they did not get there by following the rules they were told to obey. They got there because they understood the hidden rules that govern power, the rules no one teaches you. But today, you're going to learn them. Most people assume that success is about talent, effort, or even luck. But that's not true. Those things matter, but only if you understand the hidden rules of power. The first rule, perception is reality. It doesn't matter how good you are at something. It matters how people see you. A less competent person who appears confident will be chosen over an expert who appears uncertain. A liar who knows how to manipulate perception will be trusted over an honest man who doesn't know how to sell himself. This is why you've seen mediocre people get promotions, why you've watched manipulators rise while honest people struggle, why the strongest don't always win, but the smartest do. Machiavelli understood that strength alone means nothing if people do not believe in it. This is why power is not just about having resources, it's about controlling the way you are perceived. Have you ever wondered why some people command respect the moment they walk into a room? It's not because they demand it. It's because they radiate it. They know how to control their presence, how to speak with authority, how to give the impression that they are in control, even when they are not. And you? Have you been letting others define how they see you? Have you been hoping that your skills, your goodness, or your intelligence will speak for itself? Because if you have, you're making the biggest mistake of your life. Nothing speaks for itself. You must shape the narrative. You must control the perception. Because in the end, people do not follow the most qualified. They follow the ones who appear to be in control. The second rule of power? Morality is a tool, not a rule. You've been taught that morality is a fixed concept, that being good means always being good, no matter the situation. But that's a trap, because while you are following morality like a script, others are using it against you. Think about the last time someone took advantage of you. Maybe they appealed to your kindness. Maybe they used guilt to manipulate you. Maybe they convinced you that doing the right thing meant doing what benefited them. This is why Machiavelli warned against blind morality. He never said to abandon ethics completely, only that you must know when to use morality to your advantage and when to discard it. Look at the most successful leaders in history. They were not saints. They did not blindly follow the rules of morality. They adapted. They played the game. They knew when to be kind and when to be ruthless. And that is the secret. Kindness is a weapon when used correctly, but a weakness when used blindly. The problem is not that you are good. The problem is that you assume others are playing by the same rules as you. They are not. You live in a world full of predators disguised as friends, of opportunists who can spot naivety from miles away. And if you think they will play fair just because you do, you have already lost. This is why Machiavelli taught that true power comes from understanding when to be moral and when to be strategic. The greatest leaders, the most powerful figures, they all mastered this balance. They were good when it benefited them, and they were ruthless when it was necessary. And now, ask yourself, when was the last time you lost because you refused to break the rules? The last time you let an opportunity slip away because you thought it would be wrong to take it? The last time someone used your own morality against you? How many times have you sacrificed, only to realize that no one was keeping score? Because here's the truth. The world does not reward selfless sacrifice. It rewards intelligent strategy. So the question is, are you ready to stop being a pawn and start being a player? Because once you see the truth, once you start playing the game the way it was meant to be played, there is no turning back. And that is when you finally start to win. There are two types of people in this world. Those who understand the game, and those who are the game. Everywhere you look, someone is being played. A trusting friend manipulated by a charming liar. A hard-working employee exploited by a boss who knows they'll never ask for more. A kind-hearted person giving their all to a relationship where the other person only takes. And the worst part, they don't even realize it's happening. Because they assume everyone plays by the same rules they do. They believe in fairness, reciprocity, and good intentions. They think that if they just keep being good, life will eventually reward them. But that's not how the world works. The world doesn't reward goodness. It rewards awareness. Machiavelli understood that human nature is not noble. It is opportunistic. People will take what they can, push as far as you allow them to, and use your kindness against you the moment it benefits them. It's not because they're evil. It's because they're human. And if you don't recognize this, if you don't learn to see beyond the masks people wear, you will continue to be used, overlooked, and discarded by those who do. So here's what you need to understand. The world is not made up of good and bad people. It is made up of predators and prey. And the only thing separating the two is awareness. The people who rise to the top, the ones who command respect, who are never exploited, who always seem to be one step ahead, they don't get there by accident. They get there because they know how to read people. They see the hidden intentions behind the words. They recognize when someone is manipulating them. They know when a friend is really just an opportunist, waiting for the right moment to take advantage. And more importantly, they know when to strike first. If you don't want to be played, you have to see the game before it plays you. And that starts with one simple truth. Never assume anyone is what they appear to be. The person who flatters you the most is often the one preparing to betray you. The one who always plays the victim is usually the one pulling the strings. And the one who tells you to just be nice is the first one who will take advantage of your goodness when the opportunity arises. So ask yourself, how many times have you been deceived because you assumed someone was playing by the same rules as you? And more importantly, how much longer will you keep letting it happen? Power is not about strength, it's about perception. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are, how hard you work, or how much value you bring to the table. If people don't perceive you as powerful, you will always be overlooked. This is why the world is full of incompetent people in high positions. It's why you've seen someone less talented than you get the promotion. It's why you've watched manipulators rise while honest people struggle. Because it's not about who deserves power. It's about who appears to have it. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He knew that image is everything. That power isn't just about what you can do, it's about what people believe you can do. Think about it. A leader who looks uncertain loses respect. A worker who doesn't know how to sell their value stays stuck. A person who doesn't command attention is ignored, no matter how much they have to offer. And here's where most people fail. They think competence speaks for itself. They think if they just work hard, do the right thing, and wait their turn, someone will notice them. But the world doesn't work that way, because the world is too distracted to notice you unless you force it to. So ask yourself, how do people see you? Do they see strength, confidence, and authority? Or do they see someone they can ignore, overlook, or walk all over? Because here's the truth. If you don't control your own image, someone else will do it for you. And the moment that happens, you lose power. Machiavelli didn't just teach people how to gain power, he taught them how to control perception. He understood that the world follows what it believes to be true, not necessarily what is true. This is why the weak often rise while the strong remain unseen. It's why politicians smile while deceiving, why CEOs project confidence even when their companies are crumbling, why the most powerful people never reveal their full hand. They control the perception of reality. And you? Are you controlling how people see you? Or are you just hoping they'll see you the way you want to be seen? Because hope is not a strategy. You must create the image that commands respect. You must project confidence even when you don't feel it. You must appear powerful before you ever become powerful. Because in this world, perception always comes first. And the moment you master that, everything changes. Powerful people have one thing in common. They speak less than they know. Look at the people in your life who command respect. Are they the ones who talk the most? Or the ones who make you lean in when they do? Machiavelli understood that power isn't just about what you say, it's about what you don't say. Because the more you speak, the more you reveal. The more you reveal, the more predictable you become. And the more predictable you are, the easier you are to manipulate. This is why the most powerful people in history rarely revealed their full thoughts. They spoke when it mattered, not just to fill silence. They understood something most people never will. Words are a currency, and the more you spend, the less valuable they become. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who talks so much that their words start to mean nothing? They explain everything, justify themselves constantly, reveal their entire thought process without being asked. And what happens? People stop listening. Now think of someone who speaks with purpose, who doesn't say everything on their mind, who lets others guess what they're thinking. What happens then? People pay attention. This is the power of silence. Because silence creates mystery, and mystery creates power. Machiavelli knew that those who cannot be read cannot be controlled. That the moment you become fully understood, you become fully predictable. And the moment you are predictable, you are weak. So here's what you must do. Speak less, listen more. Never explain yourself unless absolutely necessary. Never reveal your full plans. Make people wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you might do next. Because uncertainty is power, and the less they know, the more they respect you. So ask yourself, are you controlling the information you give away? Or are you handing people the weapons they will eventually use against you? Because if you are, then you've already lost. But if you learn to master silence, if you learn to speak only when it benefits you, if you learn to make your words matter, then, and only then, will you stop being just another person in the crowd. And you will start being a force that others cannot ignore. If you had to choose, would you rather be feared or loved? Think carefully, because the answer to this question determines your fate in this world. Most people instinctively say, loved. They believe love brings loyalty, respect, and safety. They assume that if they treat people well, people will treat them well in return. But have you ever seen what happens to those who are only loved? They are the ones who are taken for granted, the ones who are expected to be understanding when others fail them, the ones who give and give, only to be discarded the moment they are no longer useful. Love is conditional. It is fickle. It disappears when it is no longer convenient. Fear, however, fear endures. Machiavelli understood something most people never will. Love is a privilege, but fear is a necessity. If you can be both loved and feared, that is ideal. But if you have to choose fear. Because love without fear breeds disrespect. It creates entitlement. It makes people believe they can cross your boundaries without consequence. Think about the people in your life. Who do you respect more? The one who is kind no matter what, who tolerates mistreatment, who never enforces their boundaries, or the one who carries themselves with a presence that demands respect, the one who, even in kindness, makes it clear that there are lines you do not cross. Love alone does not create respect. In fact, when given without strength, it often creates contempt. This is why powerful people do not seek to be loved first. They seek to be respected first. Because once respect is established, love follows naturally. But love without respect, that is just weakness waiting to be exploited. Look at history. The rulers who were only loved were the ones overthrown, manipulated, or ignored. The ones who were respected, whether through love or fear, were the ones who lasted. Now, this is where most people misunderstand Machiavelli. They think he was advocating cruelty. He wasn't. He never said, "Be feared by being ruthless." He said, "Be feared by being decisive, by enforcing boundaries, by making it clear that there are consequences for crossing you." And the best part? You don't even need to be harsh. You just need to be firm. Because fear is not about being aggressive. It is about being unpredictable. It is about making people think twice before they try to take advantage of you. If people think they can cross you without consequence, they will. If they believe they can betray you and still be welcomed back, they will. If they know you are always kind, no matter what, they will begin to see your kindness as weakness. And that is where most people fail. They believe that being good is enough, that people will appreciate their kindness, their sacrifices, their patience. But the world does not reward kindness. It respects power. And if you want to be truly respected, you must be willing to show your teeth when necessary. Not constantly, not recklessly, but just enough that people never forget what you are capable of. The moment they know there is a price to pay for disrespecting you, everything changes. They will still love you. But now, they will also fear losing your respect. And that is when you finally win. The strongest warriors do not swing their swords at every opportunity. They wait, they observe, they strike only when it matters. Most people act on impulse. They react out of emotion, frustration, or fear. They want results now. But the greatest minds in history knew one thing above all. True power belongs to those who know how to wait. Look at the most successful people in any field, the most feared leaders, the most strategic rulers, the most dominant players in any game. What do they all have in common? They never move too soon. They let their enemies exhaust themselves. They let others reveal their weaknesses first. They let the impatient make mistakes. And then, when the moment is perfect, they make their move. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He knew that in any power struggle, the ones who act too soon are the ones who lose. They show their hand too early. They give away their strategy before they even begin. The masters of power, however, they wait in the shadows, watching as their rivals overextend. as their opponents expose their weaknesses, as their enemies dig their own graves. And only then, at the perfect moment, do they strike. This is strategic patience. The ability to sit back while others rush forward. The ability to resist the urge to react emotionally. The ability to wait until the opportunity is so perfect that success is almost guaranteed. Most people fail because they act too soon. They send the message too quickly instead of letting curiosity build. They try to prove themselves immediately instead of letting others wonder about their true power. They react out of anger or insecurity, revealing their weaknesses before the battle even begins. But the wise, the powerful, they stay silent when needed. They let others underestimate them. They wait until their moment is so clear, so calculated, so perfect, that when they finally act, no one can stop them. And here's what makes it even more dangerous. While you are waiting, the world assumes you are passive. They think you have nothing to offer. They believe you are weak. Let them, because the greatest victories come when no one sees them coming. Have you ever noticed how the most successful people never seem desperate? How they walk away from bad deals? How they never chase, never beg, never try too hard? It's because they understand something most people don't. Desperation repels power. Patience attracts it. When you act too quickly, you look needy. When you chase something too hard, you lower your value. When you try to force something before it's ready, you destroy your own advantage. But when you wait, when you hold back, when you resist the urge to prove yourself immediately, people start to wonder about you. They become curious. They start asking, what does this person know that I don't? And that is the moment when you truly become dangerous. Because power is not always in movement. Sometimes it is in stillness, in watching, in waiting, in letting others burn themselves out before you make your first move. This is why the most powerful figures in history were often the most patient. The emperor who lets his rivals tear each other apart before taking the throne. The businessman who waits until the market collapses before making his investment. The strategist who lets his enemies make the first mistake before crushing them completely. And now, the question is, can you resist the urge to move too soon? Can you stay silent while others talk too much? Can you wait while others act impulsively? Can you hold your ground until the moment is so perfect that when you finally strike, there is nothing they can do to stop you? If you give people unlimited access to you, they will stop valuing you. This is one of the greatest mistakes people make, not just in power, but in life. They think that by being constantly available, constantly present, constantly giving, they will earn respect and loyalty. But what happens instead? They become taken for granted. Look at any relationship, any workplace, any social circle. The person who is always available, who always says yes, who always makes time, are they the most respected? Or are they the most exploited? Machiavelli understood a fundamental truth about human nature. Abundance breeds indifference, but scarcity creates value. People do not respect what they have unlimited access to. They respect what is rare, what is difficult to obtain, what they feel they must earn. And this is why power is not only about presence, it is also about absence. The moment you give too much of yourself, whether it's your time, your energy, your kindness, you lose your mystique. You lose your leverage. Think of the most respected leaders, the most admired individuals, the most sought-after figures in any field. Do they make themselves constantly available? Number. They are selective. They are distant. They do not chase attention. Attention chases them. Because when you limit access to yourself, you force people to appreciate every moment they do get. Machiavelli knew that familiarity breeds contempt. He knew that when people believe they have you whenever they want, they stop valuing you. They stop fearing losing you. They stop respecting you. And this applies to every area of life. In business, the employees who never say no get the worst treatment. The ones who are always available are seen as disposable. But the ones who hold back their time, who set limits, who make it clear that their presence is valuable, those are the ones who get respect. In relationships, the people who give endlessly without any mystery become boring. But the ones who create just enough distance to make others wonder, to make them crave their presence, those are the ones who are desired. In social circles, the ones who are always there, always present, always easy to reach, are overlooked. But the ones who are selective, who show up when it matters, who create an air of exclusivity, those are the ones people talk about, think about, and chase. So ask yourself, have you been too available? Have you made yourself too easy to access? Because the more you do, the more invisible you become. The secret is not just in appearing powerful, it is in making people feel that access to you is a privilege, not a right. And the moment you learn to regulate your presence, to make others feel the weight of your absence, to make them earn your time, that is the moment when you become someone people cannot ignore. Most people believe power belongs to those who force their way to the top, the ones who move the fastest, the ones who demand attention, the ones who push and push, never stopping, never waiting. But that's a lie, because true power doesn't belong to the fastest. It belongs to the smartest, to the ones who understand the hidden laws of the game, to the ones who do not just react, but control the environment around them. Machiavelli knew that the greatest mistake a person can make is to play by the rules they were given, instead of rewriting them to their advantage. Most people follow the script. They do what they are told. They live within the limits imposed on them by society, by tradition, by expectation, and that is why they remain stuck. But the ones who rise above the rest, they are the ones who recognize that every system is designed to keep them in their place, and they refuse to comply. Think of every person in history who changed the world, the ones who left a mark, the ones who shaped power, rather than being shaped by it. Did they follow the traditional path? Or did they do something no one expected? Because here's the truth. The world is designed to devour those who conform. If you do what everyone else does, you will get what everyone else gets. If you follow the traditional path, you will end up in the same place as the rest. And that means mediocrity. It means being another forgotten name in history. So ask yourself, are you playing the game? Or are you being played by it? Because most people are not players. They are pieces on the board, moved by forces they don't even see. They react instead of strategize. They wait for approval instead of taking what they want. They beg for opportunities instead of creating their own. And that is why they lose. The only way to win is to become an exception, to do what others will not do, to move in ways they do not expect, to make yourself someone who is impossible to predict, impossible to ignore, impossible to replace. Because power belongs to the ones who are willing to rewrite the rules. Most people spend their lives playing small, waiting for permission, hoping that if they just work hard enough, someone will notice them, reward them, validate them. But here's the reality. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to give you power. No one is going to hand you control. You either take it, or you remain at the mercy of those who do. And once you understand that, once you start making moves that no one sees coming, once you begin thinking for yourself instead of following the script you were given, everything changes. People who once ignored you will start paying attention. People who once underestimated you will start second-guessing. People who once controlled you will fear what you will do next. Because now, you are no longer playing by their rules. You are writing your own. And that is how you stop being a pawn in the system. That is how you become the one who controls it.